So, I was not expecting to make this video this late, but the new trailer for One Piece has been released and I'm gonna get to it. No intro needed, let's get right to it, shall we? First of all, the trailer starts with the appearance of Gold D. Roger, which at first, I'm not gonna lie, I did not like the way he looked. However, when we saw the smile of Gold D. Roger, just like in the manga, then I was like, okay, I am sold. Not gonna lie, I actually loved it. The one character that I was not expecting to see though was Gob, which let me tell you, for me at least, he looks absolutely awesome. Perfect casting choice in my opinion. I gotta say that it feels weird to hear the speech of Gold D. Roger announcing the One Piece in English, however, given the fact that we are so used to listening to the speech in Japanese or, in some cases, in the dub version. But nonetheless, it still sounds great in my opinion, especially with that grin in the end. After that, we see glimpses of the crew, and then we proceed to see how Luffy draws the first Jolly Roger, meaning that they are going to keep most of the humor intact for this show. We then get to see traces of the group already formed and how they are talking about going into the Grand Line. Nothing new, basically the same thing that we saw on the first trailer. However, in this trailer we get to see Buggy, and my god, did they nail Buggy. Does he look ridiculous and outlandish? Yes, and it's supposed to look like that, and honestly, when he announced his attack of the Chop Chop Cannon, I was actually hyped. I didn't see it as cringe. I don't know why, it actually worked, so great points there. We then get to see some action sequences that I was not expecting to see in this trailer, and the thing that blew my mind, we actually saw the Gyojin, the fish people in this trailer. The first character that we see is Kurobi. Therefore, I have high hopes to see Hachi and Chu as well, but this is not the only Gyojin that we see, and I'll get to that later. But before continuing, I would like to say something. The Gyojin people seem the most impossible thing to adapt in this very first arc, and yet we see the character being portrayed exactly just like in the manga and anime, so I can only hope for the best for the other characters as well. Anyway, moving on. We then proceed to see Zoro's and Sanji love and hate relationship that they have, alongside an action sequence in Arlong Park, where Zoro cuts an enemy's leg and Sanji proceeds to kick someone in the head. We also get to see more of the dynamic of the group, with everyone being idiots and getting along in their own way, particularly Usopp. And then proceed to a transition where we can see the Barati in all of its glory, and it looks absolutely beautiful. As you can see, there's so many things happening at the same time in just one trailer, and we could say that it's already enough, but no, we get to see even more. We see the key moment of this arc, which is the moment where Nami asks Luffy for help, and what a perfect transition comes afterwards, because we get to see Arlong, which has a lot of things that I liked and other things that I didn't like, and I'm gonna talk about them later. Nonetheless, he looks dangerous and menacing, so that's good in my book. Let's continue. A lot of stuff happening at the same time, too many scenes, and we get to see both Shanks and Mihawk, which in my opinion they look perfect for the role. Maybe not so much the eyes of Mihawk, but that's just nitpicking from my end. Lots of action sequences, lots of choreography, lots of plot, and then only then we get to see the moment that I've been personally waiting for, the Gulting Gun from Luffy. Now, bear with me when I say this. We come from seeing the Elastic Man from the Fantastic Four too many times, and honestly it never looked good. Now, in the context of One Piece, it looks sort of cartoonish, but again, it looks extremely well done. It is an actual Gulting Gun, just like in the manga/anime, which is something that actually hyped me up. And if that wasn't enough, we get to see more funny moments, more screenshots of what's going to happen later, and then we get to see the whip. Is it whip or whip? Anyway, the whip from Luffy, which I thought was gonna look horrible given the circumstances of a live action, but no, it actually looks decent. And just when the trailer was about to end, no, we get another scene where we see Kobe and Luffy looking at the posters of all the wanted pirates. In there, we actually see Alvida at first, but I don't know if you noticed this, but there's actually an Easter egg here. Do you see a little one called Cavendish down there? Yeah, they're actually projecting the character that appears in Dressrosa, and not arc that happens 800 episodes later. In another shot in that very same scene, we also see the poster for Foxy, a character that does not appear until just before Water 7. Then we get a first look at Kobe, which looks a bit taller than the anime counterpart, but honestly I don't mind it. As long as he looks skinny, scruffy and weak, then I'm all good. But then at the end of the trailer we see another wanted poster from Bellamy, which looks really goofy, and I love it because why? I'll tell you why. Because the original character design looks goofy as hell. So it is a very good portrayal of Bellamy. And so the trailer raised my expectations by a lot. At first I was hopeful, now I am intrigued. I actually want to see it and I want to see how good it is. However, I mentioned before that there were a couple of things that I didn't really like about the trailer, and I'm gonna talk about them. They are very short, so don't worry. The first one, I already mentioned it, Mihawk's eyes. Again, that's me nitpicking. The second thing, some of the CGI still looks kinda clunky. Third and fourth thing are a couple of things that are connected to Arlong. First, I would like to start by saying that Arlong looks amazing, looks menacing, looks just like in the manga, but there's one thing missing. He's not tall, and Arlong is supposed to be like a mountain. He's supposed to look very tall. Honestly, I do not like the idea of Arlong being the same height as Luffy. It's just something that I'm not willing to negotiate. The other thing that I don't like about Arlong is the fact that he appears from the Bharati, when in reality he's not supposed to be there. He appears a couple of episodes later. So maybe this is an adaptation of what's gonna happen in order to make it much easier to adapt to this format. But we'll have to see. And the final thing that I don't like about the trailer, which is something that I didn't like about the first trailer as well, where are all the lines from Usopp? Why so few moments with Usopp? I want to see more of him. I want to hear him talking. I want to see some of his most iconic scenes. Is he gonna be a coward or is he gonna be just a goober? We need coward Usopp. We want to see his development. But at the end of the day, I also have to say, there's more things that I loved about this trailer than the things that I didn't like. And so I have to say that finally I am sold on the One Piece premise for the Netflix adaptation. So yeah, that is my opinion regarding this trailer. What do you think? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Did you find it interesting? Are you interested in watching it? Let me know in the comments below because I really want to read your opinion. This has been Juano and thank you for watching. So, I'm not gonna lie to you, there's also a little secret. I really need to take a shit.